This is Sandy Tankus for TOS50.com, the other side of 50, and I'm here speaking today with Dr. Paul Law, the Director of Medical Informatics of the Kennedy Krieger Institute at Johns Hopkins University. Good morning, Dr. Law.
Good morning, Sandy.
And Dr. Law has spoken to us about some research results in a previous interview that we had. But today, since most of our audience are grandparents, I thought that we might speak to him a little bit about family dynamics that take place when there's an autistic child in the family and what grandparents can do to help that situation. So, what can grandparents do to help?
Well, months ago we did a survey that was targeted to better understand the role that grandparents are playing in the lives of their autistic grandchild and in the lives of their children or the parents of those autistic grandchildren. And we did that to learn, to try to understand a couple of things. One was the burden that was being placed on grandparents, financially and otherwise, but also ways that they were helping, ways that they were benefiting from their relationship with their autistic grandchild and so forth. So some of the things that we learned that are very important is that grandparents, because of their own experience in watching their own children grow up, were often the first to find out, to see that the child with autism was not developing normally, and was able to encourage the parents to seek out help and to get their child diagnosed, which helps to get the services that the child needs. And that's extremely important, and that was happening 30% of the time. Now there's a lot of national strategies out there that where we're trying to improve recognition of autism. We want to make sure that we're equipping grandparents as much as possible to play that role, because they are in a unique place to be able to do that.
Well, what about other siblings in the family? What role do they play, and how does this affect them?
The other siblings are playing a very important role, and they are they're there to interact with a child with autism all day long. In many cases, they're teaching skills, they're teaching language skills, play skills for the child with autism. I myself have, as I said in another interview, I have a child with autism, and he learned a great deal, continues to learn a great deal from his siblings. So I think that their role is really important. And I think that really points out, so in general, the way we approach learning more about autism it is really based on including the whole family whenever we possibly can. So Ian was not structured to be, say, a registry of kids with autism. It was structured to be a family event where everybody in the family is participating and their unique roles are being brought to the understanding of autism.
Is there any chance that there'll be a cure for autism in the near future?
Well, I think to answer that, it's important for you to understand what most scientists believe today. I think we're all in pretty strong consensus that there are many, many different forms of autism. So the search for the cure is going to be dependent on each of those types. For instance, there's children with Fragile X disorder, and you don't need to understand what that is necessarily, but it's a specific genetic condition that leads to autism in many cases. Well, the cure for autism for those kids may be very different than the cure for autism for a child who maybe has had an environmental exposure that led to their autism. So I think there will be cures for autism, but it may be many of them will be very specific to the type of autism that the child has.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today, Dr. Law. And again, I want to thank the Sid Jacobson JCC for allowing me to speak to you today on their premises. They have a wonderful special needs program that serves the entire autistic spectrum. Thank you.
Thank you.